In the news update, yes, day, 2020, Wednesday, but it probably won't go out till Thursday, That's right. All right, let me stop. So anyway, in the news update, how y'all doing today? I figured I would just stop by. I had a relapse. No, I'm just kidding. All right, sober man, come back. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Let's get serious today. That was a drunk man. All right, we did that a while back. Referred to that on YouTube. Drunk man, sober man had a battle, and of course, sober man won. Um, anyway, in the news today, I set aside a little bit of humor. Some people might think it's an embarrassment, but not really. But it's just. But I love my family. I think they're wonderful people. I think a lot of times we can be misunderstood. I think a lot of times we can mistake things or take it just plainly out of context, like a wild train going off the track, going into oblivion. Sorry about that. Going on, on a track that goes to nowhere. And we can be like that with people we don't, with things we don't understand, or we can kind of not like people because of what they say, because they speak the truth and we don't want to hear it because it offends us or upsets us. Because if we get upset, we're offended. But we shouldn't be offended because, that's how we get better. When people do call you out if you're doing something wrong. I mean, I call people out if they do something wrong. And you know that. If you watch my stuff, I do say your name. And I don't do that to be on purpose or to get the glory. I do that because it's God just trying to help you, not to judge you, but to help you, because I can't sometimes always call you on the phone and say, hey, I got to talk to you about this matter. So I have to reach you through the internet, because some people I can't talk to because the way people act, because they say they forgive you, but the way they act, they show that they don't. So, like I said, because they want to believe all the lies and then all the narrative of what those neighbors said about me when I was living up there, and they were behind the initiative to get me to move down here. And that's why they agreed to help me move. I mean, the kids don't feel that way, but the mother does. And the kids definitely don't feel that way at all. But the mother does. And, it made me feel reassuring when they agreed with a lot of things that I said in the video, what I thought would happen. They agree exactly with me on what I said, because they let me know that when they were in the house. They said, yeah, our mother definitely does have mental problems. She is mentally ill. They know that. And it is true. She is mentally ill. And, that's why she wants to believe what she wants to believe in spite of the truth that was already revealed to her, but she wants to believe something else. And a lot of people that have mental illness, they do that. And, it's just like all these people, sycophants, how they lashed out at both rallies in Portland, Oregon, and what happened in Berkeley, California, not Washington, but Berkeley. The same thing happened at both. They showed up with red sticks in Portland, and then they showed up with noisemakers and loud horns. They had some there in Portland too, but they had a lot more at Berkeley. And Berkeley, like I said in the other video, was a champion for free speech at one time. They always stood up for that, but now they're just like all the other secular, deranged syndrome college campuses, the secular ones I'm speaking to mainly. They all have gone to this divide and conquer, and where they're placed, they become dens of interbreeding, all this deception and empty talking points, and that's why all these people are so mad, because a lot of them come from colleges and universities, and a lot of these secular universities, that's what they're teaching, and these clubs and things they go to after class, some of them are teaching these values, and that's why all these people are so angry, because they're going to these workshops or meetings that they have that are on campus that are reversing people's minds, or what they say, maybe educating them is what they call them. Colleges, they'll say, this is a news place that you can go to help re-educate you on what really is going on. And when you go there, it actually isn't re-educating you. It really is just reverse engineering your mind to believe in all the rhetoric of what all these news people put out, and what Joe Soros is behind, and what Monsanto is behind, and how they're all in bed with the CIA and with the government and with the news groups that are out here, the dinosaur media syndicates. They all put out all this stuff, and they just want to get everybody all fighting in war with each other. And Now the new thing is now they just get up in your face with a big sheet of paper, and if you're trying to speak, they just get on these loud horns and just be yelling and saying things real loud on you, like a police loud horn, an amplified loud horn apparatus, and they'll just turn it up real loud and yell in your face and make noises because they try to shut you down. And if you have any signs of you saying what you believe and what you want to state to show your peaceful premise and what you believe in, they'll try to put up black signs to block your signs. And it's just real ridiculous, but this is what these college students have been reduced to. They go to get a higher education and they come out more dumber than they did when they went in. And that's what it is. They're just going in there, and the colleges and universities that are secular, Liberty, thank God, is not like that. I'm glad they're not like that. But a lot of all these secular universities have become a breeding ground and den to basically re-engineer your child's mind and viewpoints and what they believe in, and they buy up all this other anti-America, Nazi, fascists, like what they call conservatives and Christians, when really they're the one acting like that because they're trying to limit other people's speech, but yet it's okay for them to say what they got to say. But then if you say something, they don't want you speaking, but it's all right for them to say something. If you're a Trump supporter, same thing. They don't want nobody saying nothing, but it's okay for them to have their speech and them to beat up people and show it on Facebook, and we have people shooting people on Facebook and God knows what else, and showing people getting beheaded, on YouTube and Facebook, and being homosexuals by the Islams, being thrown off of buildings and stuff. It's okay for them to do that, but it's not okay for you to tell the truth, because that's a crime. That's a violation of the policy. According to Alex Jones, that's what YouTube charged Alex Jones. That false narrative was not even true. He didn't violate any policy with language or anything of that sort. He was just saying the truth. They didn't like it, so they took him off the platform. And it's wrong. And I don't care, because I'm just telling the truth, because it's what really truly happened. It's not what I think happened, it's what did happen. They scrutinized everything he said. It's just like on all these news outlets like CNN and MSN and ABC and The View. Even Alex Jones was being talked about some on all these platforms. Good Morning America was talking about him and making him look bad and saying all kinds of lies about him. All these different shows were doing that. That led up to where they are now. And of course, then CNN and Breitbart and all them, they're all excited now because he's off the air, thinking they're gloating, think they're going to get more ratings. Because and CNN, they're a dead media. There has been. They're on their way out. As a matter of fact, some cable companies have banned their channel from being on the channel lineup because they just don't want them in their area, because they're just not, they're fake news and they always lie about a bunch of things. And that's why they're being blocked on some cable providers, And I think that's good, because they're always going after everybody else's speech, and that's what their agenda is, because they've been bought out by the government. And then, just like all these, the regular news, your local news has been bought out, by the government, even though they sound nice and they do report on legitimate stuff, but they also tell you their version or their narrative. They don't always tell you the full truth. They tell you a little bit of the truth, but then they mix it up with their propaganda as fuel, because that's what they're reading off a teleprompter that has been censored by a government agency. And that's what they're reading to you when they're on the air. They don't make up that stuff themselves. No, all this stuff is prepackaged that they read. They might go out to sites and do the videos, but all the stuff before it goes on the air, it's run through the government and it's censored. And then they go and change it and they read something that somebody else prepared that wasn't the news anchor. But in a prepackaged, after they bring all the video in, they censor everything and scramble it and make it to fit their narrative. Instead of them just telling freely, like a real journalist would do, what they really want to say. Because they can't do that, because they're being subjugated to say what only the FCC or groups, they're CIA analysts that work for these stations that are employed at a lot of these stations, because they are, and even at CNN, and they only read what they deem for them to read. It's kind of like what they're doing with the web is what they did with media, like radio, like TV and radio stations. They're trying to do that with the web, and the web, like I touched on a little bit on Facebook, or maybe it was on YouTube the other night. But you can't censor the web like Facebook and like radio and TV, because the web is not the same thing. It's it's an open platform to exchange files and information. and ideas. That's why the web was really created. And see, YouTube, has the word YouTube in it, meaning it's for everyone to go out there and spread their video. But now they've changed that secretly, and now it's just about corporate tube. It's like, who cares about you? See you later. Even though we made a lot of money off your videos and monetization and AdSense and all, we made a bunch of money, but we never paid you. But we made a whole lot of money off of your videos by putting the commercials on there. I mean, I can't even get AdSense. I tried to get on there, and they got some kind of junk on there saying I can't get it for some reason. And then if you do get it, then they'll try to go after you even more because you're using their sense, and that's why I stopped using it. Because I try to get donations on this channel. By the way, subscribe down below. It's so important to spread this channel around and, tell the truth, because that's the reason why, because they demonize everything you say, and then they make you look like a real bad person, like you, because you're saying the truth narrative other than what the government is putting out there. The dinosaur media that's being controlled largely by these alphabet gang groups. And, it's really it's a deeper picture. It's not just censorship in America. Censorship is global. And this Chinese-like firewall or Chinese-like rollout that they're doing is the last place to hit is America. And that's what is happening. Google's already doing tests and algorithms. The shadow banning is part of that. There's a lot of people in Congress and all right now that are being shadow banned, and there's probably a number of them that don't even know they're being shadow banned, but they are, because of something they said. And the same stuff that they're doing to us is the same stuff they're doing to all them. Rush Limbaugh's next. Jack Kennedy, he's next. All these people thinking they're gloating because Alex Jones isn't on the air. And I like some of the things that Rush Limbaugh talks about. I listen to his show from time to time. I like some of the things that Jack Kennedy discusses. I don't agree with all of his points. It's like I don't agree with all Alex Jones's points, and I don't agree with all of Rush Limbaugh's points. But you don't see me going and reporting them and censoring them and getting them removed off the web, do you? Like they did to Alex Jones. It's wrong. And you all know it. It's a crime what happened here. It's treasonous. And we need to stand together and tell that story. And get these people reinstated back on the air and get their channels back. Because I don't think all his videos are gone or deleted. They look like they are. I think they're still there. They're just hidden. But it's like what they did with Dabu 7. They took his channel off. They moved one of his channels totally, and then they brought it back. Well, they'll probably do that with Alex Jones, too. And I wanted to talk more about stuff that I didn't even say on Facebook that I found out. But what they're going to try to do is they're going to probably, one scenario is they're going to reinstate Alex Jones, allow him to have all his channels back and subscribers and everything. But then they're going to engineer this war against the media, the independent media. They're going to start blowing up places, by these left-wing groups that they've been planning for probably 10 years out. From before now. Before now, they've been planning this all this time. And now they're getting ready to unroll that. And they're going to say that the independent news media is the reason why all the terrorism has happened, even though that's a lie from hell. Now, these people have been ordered as a psyop to go out to cause war and to cause battles and things in communities and at places and with the media of the conservative groups, because they want to do that to try to disrupt everything and try to have a reason to ban everybody and think it's all terrorism and try to put everybody in the same category when really the media, when you're telling the news, that's not that's not terrorism. When you're speaking the truth, it's just terrorism to them because you're exposing all the plots that all these people are doing that are crooked in the government, and they don't like it. And so that's why they want to shut you up and shut everyone that speaks about them. When you're telling the truth about them, they don't want that getting out, because then it will expose them, and then it foils their plans because it shuts it down. That's what InfoWars is, a war on your mind. It's spreading the information out and telling the truth. That's what it's all about, people. That's what we want to do. That way we can stop this stuff. And that's why they want to shut people down all the more and censor people for speaking the truth. Okay? And they want to demonize and twist everything you say. It's another thing they love to do, is scrutinize and twist and lie and make up false charges on you, like they did with Alex Jones, saying he violated the license of his channel due to violent and inappropriate content. And that's what I've heard in other different versions of that have been put out all over the web. And you're saying that he just disrupted, and even his page that he has independently is also being blocked to a certain degree. It has a big red banner on it. And that's not even with YouTube. but it's got a big banner on there, so they're going after him hard, and it's unfair, and it's wrong, and it's illegal, and it's totally against the law what they're doing. And I don't know how this is able to happen. That's why we need to call Congress, like I said on YouTube, call the president, call the Senate, call the House, call your delegates in your area, call your senators and tell them to get off their butt and send them complaints through fax, email, through the telephone. Go in there in person if you're able to. Talk to them. If you have their chat addresses or you have their web pages, voice your opinion on their pages electronically over the web. Yeah, use the tools of the enemy to speak your mind and tell the truth about what you feel about it. Because that's the way we're going to reinstate these people, and that's the way we're going to get freedom of speech to stay free online as well as in the real world, is if we all stand up and say something about it. And that's what it's all about, so this doesn't happen to anyone else anymore, period. America is the melting pot of the world. You know why it's called that? Because we have everybody here just about from every nationality all over the world that lives here in America. And you know what? For the most part, we get along beautifully. And, it's not like that anywhere else. But it is a lot here in America. But if we keep going the way we're going, we're not going to get along. Because everybody's going to be fighting against each other, because that's what it's all about. To start a civil war in this country. And that's what they're trying to roll out right now. That's what the censorship is. This is the purge. That's what's known as the purge. Because that's what's starting it all off. This is what we call a soft civil war, which could spill over into a real physical war with guns and everything. If they keep going this way, it's going to get into a real physical, bloody confrontation. And that may be why they want to have $1 million. They want to have over $1 billion. I think it's over $1.5 billion they said in the news to train to go into fight in China and other countries. That's what they said on the news tonight on the secular bought-out government news. But I don't buy that for a minute. I think that fighting is not just going to be it's not for China and all that like they're claiming. That's for them to have new facilities and training and gear to fight inner communities and suburbs here in the United States. I think that's just them saying it's for overseas too. And it might be, but it's also here to get disorderly people when they go to round up people that are conservatives and Christians who go against them. And that's why they want to have this $1.5 billion money, so they can really train to go after and round up American people who go against the narrative. That's what it's all about, folks. It's not about just Russia and all. They say that, but it's about fighting against people here in America. I mean, this is what's going on. The deep state, we have good government that wants patriotism, that likes the flag and everything, and then we have the deep state that wants to go against it. The deep state is behind all the censorship, people, like I said on YouTube, like I said on Facebook. But it goes a step further because it's a global initiative, because it's all tied in with the New World Order. They take away everybody's freedom of speech in every way and aspect that they can to control it. They have to do that to lay the framework so all the world can come together, and then these governments can pose as a tribunal savior to all the countries that are in debt. It's like all the countries take all the debt of the world, and it's not going to work because it's so massive. And it's so much that it's just not going to work. And it's just going to make the whole world collapse. And it's just going to cause more people to die and more people to get sick, because there's not going to be adequate food or health care. It's just going to be hellish. And that's what the New World Order will look like. And that's what they don't want you to find out until it happens. And it's too late, because you're just drinking your Kool-Aid and sleeping and not realizing what's going on around you. Because I love you. And I don't want you to be in that. Like James Dawson said in his tweet today, we were a lot more freer 5 years ago. What about 20 years ago than we are today? We were a lot more freer then, certainly more so than we are today. And it's just sadly true. A lot of people are just not awake and don't see that this censorship won't apply to them, or like they're in a bubble. I mean, I could lose my channel just like Alex Jones did. And I hope I don't, because I'm speaking the truth, and I hope that some allies at YouTube will keep me on. Not give me no strikes, because I'm not saying anything that is against their will, because I looked at it, even though they might try to lie like they did with Alex Jones and they lied about him. He didn't do anything of the sort like that. I'm not either. Just speaking the truth. Some people might not like it, but you don't like it, you don't ban people. You just turn it off and go to a different video. That's why it's called freedom of speech. You don't censor people, because that's taking away independent voices, and that's a crime. That's treasonous. and it's illegal. And I think Trump should sign an executive order. I think Congress and the Senate and the House should come together and come up with a digital protection against all conservative and all people that are on the internet, so that all people have a voice, including those who don't like our voice. So we still have that voice, because that's what freedom of speech is. Everybody has an opinion. We may not agree with it. Is what it boils down to, folks. We may not agree with it. We may not like it. We may not share in the same belief or ideologies or ideas, but we still have the right to say what we want to say. As long as we're not causing violence to someone or harming someone physically, or doing something to their family, or doing something that's inappropriate, then there's no reason why they should be banned or censored, because speech is not in itself a crime. And that's what they're trying to do, these cats in the government and in these bought out news groups and these fascists and these bots that they have, and these third party people that screen people's content electronically on the web. That's what they're trying to implement here in America through their Chinese wall-like style-like censorship techniques. And that's what we want to stop. I mean, just to give you a heads up for FYI purposes, pretty much China owns all the recording industry. China owns most of the movie studio industry. And now China's trying to take over the web here in America. And that's the real truth behind the whole smokescreen. So, it's Michael DeSilva. Let's vote to keep America free and to keep speech alive and free on the web and in the real world. Because if they can take away our freedom of speech, they can take away everything else. Believe that. I'll leave you with that thought. I'll see you later. I love you, and God bless America. And everyone stay safe. And share this video far and wide. Please donate if you can, or don't. I don't really care. But it's up to you. But I hope you will donate. Because, if you do, then that means you stand with me and you're helping me. Even if you give $1 or $2 or whatever you're led, even if you give 100 or even 500, or even if you want to give 1,000, shoot, I'll send you out a shirt, freedom for the world, or freedom for the world shirt. I'll have it made and sent to you in your size of choice if you send $1,000, and it'll be a nice shirt, in any color you would want it. And, I'll go ahead and make that shirt and make it available for everybody to buy for $30 if you want that. But, I can't give you a shirt unless you give me $1,000 or more. If you get that big, but those who, you just give whatever you feel, or, simply don't give, keep doing what you're doing, or have a heart and say, hey, I like what this dude's saying. I like the preaching that he does. I like the end of news. I want to help. I want to be of something that's a groundbreaking, floor-breaking operation, so he can get better equipment and be able to do more and reach more people and be able to do it through different platforms that are not censored by the government because they're independent. Let's think about that, folks, because they are out there, but you got to pay money to get on them, So, everybody, I'll see you later. Please subscribe down below, and please share this far and wide. Our freedoms are at stake. They really are right now, whether you want to believe it or accept it or not. Take care, everyone. God bless.